Hi everyone, here's what's bothering me today. Pope Francis is now in the news because he's released a new papal encyclical basically calling capitalism a failure. He says trickle-down economics have failed, especially during this pandemic. He condemns this neoliberal faith as a march towards the destruction of God's creation, being the earth, and a bunch of other little things. Now, predictably, those on the right have said, oh, this Marxist Pope, poor Catholic Church. And people on the left are saying, wow, this is so great. You know, I get it. I really do. I get that people think this is a good thing because the Pope is saying, look how bad this is, and capitalism, and look at all these bad things that are happening. I condemn it in the strongest possible terms as leader in direct connection with God in the Catholic Church. I say this, and so this should be a huge moment. He says this from the balcony of the most ornate palace in existence, at the head of a church that still to this day does not pay taxes and is beset by scandal and abuse on all sides. Pope Francis is, relatively speaking, for the Catholic Church, a very progressive pope. Is he a progressive person? That remains to really be determined. And while this is a good thing, what he has said, what matters is the execution. How is he and the cardinals and the archbishops and their various dioceses throughout the world, how are they going to meaningfully impact local lawmakers, governments, lawyers, people in positions of power? How are they going to influence these people to make the world a better place, rather than simply saying, it's not a good thing, don't do it? What is the game plan here? Is he just expecting that words are going to be enough? Or does he actually have an actual plan up his sleeve? That's what I'd like to know. And I'm so tired about people celebrating Pope Francis for the slightest of things that should be considered, normal or the very baseline of human decency. But because it's the Catholic Church and it has been so terrible for so long, we say, oh, it's fine. Look how progressive he is. It's wonderful. This is a good thing, and I don't want to take away from that, but I want people to look beyond the headline and see if this actually goes anywhere. What relative power does the Catholic Church meaningfully have? That power, how can they use it, and use it responsibly and not towards covering up child sexual abuse scandals? Are they going to use their power, and by being tax-free, are they going to do more outreach programs? And as I mentioned earlier, actually try and push for lawmakers, local governments, local communities to push for a better, greener, more sustainable future that doesn't involve capitalism? Or are they going to be ignored because people still need money and they don't know any other system yet? This is what bothers me, is that the Pope or anyone could just say one thing, one little word or phrase, and people on either side of the political spectrum will take it and run with it and just celebrate it. They'll wave it in your face saying, look how wonderful this is, or look how terrible this is. And no one sits there and objectively thinks, is this going to work? And how is it going to work? And that's why the world is spinning its wheels these days. We keep voting for the same parties, the same two parties that got us into this mess. And we keep hoping that they'll just eventually see wisdom because they're smart, right? And they'll just somehow, they'll be like Scrooge, good old Scrooge in A Christmas Carol. He'll realize through some kind of divine intervention that he was wrong and transform overnight, and the billionaires will magically give away their wealth, and the Catholic Church will make amends for all its many crimes past and present, and the various people and abusers who have been abusing boys, girls, men, women, protesters, minorities, they're going to realize, God, I have just done so much wrong. I am going to reform myself. That is Hollywood. It is not reality. Reality requires planning, action, and pressure. And so far from what I've seen, there's no actual pressure that the Catholic Church intends to pursue in this regard. And the fact that people aren't realizing this and just celebrating this as a fait accompli is what's bothering me today.